Hi folks, my name is Nate Webster. I'm the chair of the Haverhill Cultural Council, and I'd like to welcome you here to the Multicultural Festival Haverhill 2021 Preview Night. Tonight we're going to be exploring cultures from all around this great city. We're going to be exploring music, dancing, interviews, cooking segments, and more. So sit back and relax. Welcome to the 2021 Multicultural Festival Haverhill Preview Night.
Haverhill is a gloriously eclectic mix of modern freshness and old world charm. Our city is home to many amazing and diverse cultures. As we become more exposed to different nationalities and customs, we're realizing that people of different cultures, they're really so much alike. Multicultural connections are needed to create coexistence and a shared interest to build a stronger community. Together, generating unity and exclusivity, the Haverhill Cultural Council is presenting the Multicultural Festival virtually during the month of September 2021. This is a celebration of life and its different experiences and expressions. It is the first of what we hope will be an annual event and another incredible opportunity to experience Haverhill all at its best.
We want to acknowledge that Haverhill is located on the traditional lands of the Pennacook, Pentucket, Pawtucket, Avanique, and Wabanaki Confederacy. These tribal nations, who inhabited this territory for thousands of years, have lasting connections to and stewardship of the unceded lands and waterways. These nations were also among the earliest inhabitants that the English invaders first encountered. Since the invasion, indigenous peoples have endured a painful history of genocide, colonization, and historical misinformation, but they survive and flourish today, as is evident by their descendants.
Hello
Hi,
everybody,
friends.
Saludos. We are Rosi and Brian Amador from Canto, and we're super happy to be part of Multicultural Festival 2021.
Brought to you by the Haverhill Cultural Council. We're going to start our little set with a song that I wrote recently. It's called El Muro, the Wall. And I'll tell you what the lyrics say so you can get your full enjoyment of this song. It says, "The gringo left in the middle of the job. His great wall remained unfinished. Calm returned to the neighbor's land. The desert healed that ancestral wound. The animals passed through the gaps in that border that for them didn't exist. The families so long separated, embraced with tears of love. And the rain fell at last, and life returned, and the desert bloomed happy. The artisans set about without delay to take apart that insult to friendship, taking advantage of the gift of free steel, raw material for their creativity. And they made all kinds of wonderful things: a statue of Chavela, a musical fountain, a pedestrian footbridge with no guard tower. All of this and much more was born from that activity. And the rain fell at last, and life returned, and the desert bloomed. And the rain fell at last, and the desert bloomed, and the people celebrated."
It's one of my favorite songs that he's composed.
Same thing.
Se fue el gringo en medio de la obra, su gran muralla quedó sin terminar. Volvió la calma al terreno del vecino, sanó el desierto esa herida ancestral. Los animales se filtraron por las brechas de esa frontera que para ellos no existió. Las familias tanto tiempo separadas se abrazaron con lágrimas de amor. Y la lluvia al fin cayó y la vida regresó y el desierto floreció feliz. Los artesanos comenzaron sin demoras a desarmar aquel insulto a la amistad. Aprovecharon el acero regalado, materia prima para su creatividad. Una estatua de Chavela, una fuente musical, un demonio enjaulado, una torre de hermandad, puente peatonal, sin un puesto de control, todo aquello y mucho más. De esa actividad nació y la lluvia al fin cayó y la vida regresó y el desierto floreció.
And speaking of parenthood and motherhood, here's a song that I wrote for the mother of us all, La Mama Tierra, Mother Earth. It's called La Mama. The fun has ended, Mom is mad, she lost her temper, and now the party is over. The fun has ended, Mom got tough, and if you're thinking of defying her, don't even go there. She's not gonna yell at you or hit you with her flip-flop, with her chancleta. If you disrespect her, something much worse awaits you. We've done wonders with our great big brains, but we didn't pay attention to the consequences.
I want to mention that in this song, La Mama, and also in El Muro, I used my favorite new instrument and the newest member of our musical family, the cajon, which is a Peruvian, Afro-Peruvian box that's used for percussion.
Thank you so much for joining
Muchas
us.
gracias.
And thanks to the Haverhill Cultural Council.
Thank you, thank you. Adios, muchas gracias.
Hasta luego.
La mamá ya está molesta.
Se acabó la diversión.
La mamá ya está molesta.
Ella perdió la paciencia.
Y ahora se acabó la fiesta.
Ella perdió la
Y
paciencia.
ahora se acabó la fiesta.
Se acabó la diversión.
La mamá se puso dura.
Se acabó la diversión.
La mamá se puso dura.
Y si piensas desafiarla,
Que no se te ocurra.
y si piensas desafiarla,
Que no se te ocurra.
ella no te va a gritar, no te da con su chancleta. Si le faltas el respeto, algo mucho peor te espera. Algo mucho peor te espera. Hemos hecho maravillas,
Con nuestro enorme seso.
hemos hecho maravillas,
Con nuestro enorme seso.
pero no nos dimos cuenta,
Las consecuencias de eso.
pero no nos dimos cuenta.
De las consecuencias de eso.
Ella no te va a gritar, no te da con su chancleta. Si le faltas el respeto, algo mucho peor te espera. Algo mucho peor te espera.
Mamá,
Tierra, mamá, tierra.
evolution gave us gifts that are second to none. Great big brains, opposable thumbs, and we put them to use, because we ain't no fools. We made music and art and weapons and tools, harnessed fire, built shelter, kept the beasts at bay, made the desert bloom and turned night to day.
tractors. We got nuclear reactors, cell phones and scooters.
Mama, tierra, mama, tierra.
But we can't grow forever, cause there's not enough space. It's a dilemma faced by the human race. And there's one little detail we just might have missed. Mother Earth's still in charge, only now she's pissed.
Mama, tierra, mama, tierra. Ella no te va a gritar, no te da con su chancleta. Si le faltas el respeto, algo mucho peor te espera, algo mucho peor te espera.
Yes, so I'm O'Neill.
I'm Avanique.
Yeah, and she just displayed the curry goat the cooking of our curry goat, the Jamaican authentic curry goat process with rice and beans. We just add some veggies to it. This is the finished product, so that's what it looks like. Okay. So I want to thank you guys, and we're so excited for the Multicultural Festival coming in Haverhill this September. So thank you all. Thanks for joining us, and thank you guys for hosting.
Hi, my name is Avanique, and today I'll be sharing with you a traditional dish that we prepare in Jamaica. It's curry goat. In Jamaica, curry goat is normally prepared mainly on a Sunday as a Sunday special, or at Christmas time. Most people go crazy wanting curry goat to eat. So right here I have 2 pounds of goat meat, and this is already washed with lemon juice. We wash it so that it gets rid of any excess fat or so that may be on it. And now I'm going to do the seasoning, and over here I have like my natural seasonings. I have dry rubs and I have blended seasoning. So to get started, I'll start with my onions. So I'm going to put some onions onto the goat meat, and this is what basically gives the meat flavor. I'm gonna use some garlic, and so I'm going to sprinkle this as well. So I'm adding all these natural seasonings which will be rubbed on after. I'm gonna be adding some scallion, some hot pepper, and a sprig of thyme right here. And then I'm going to be adding the blended seasoning. So the blended seasoning is basically all the natural seasoning that I just added, but so that it gives it a greater flavor, we blend it so everything is combined, and then we're going to be adding it as well. Following this, I'll be adding the dry rubs. So I have a tablespoon, and I'll be using this to sprinkle. So I take 1 tablespoon of perfect seasoning. This is a mixture of onions, garlic, scallion just as well. Here I have Maggi all-purpose, and if you look right here, this is the Maggi all-purpose seasoning that you can find in Jamaican stores to do your preparation of meat. So I'll take 1 tablespoon again of the all-purpose, and I'll sprinkle it over the meat. I also have Easy Spice all-purpose seasoning, right here, and I'll do a tablespoon just as well. Now, normally goat meat is done curried, so I have my curry powder right here. But before adding my curry powder, I'm just going to rub the seasoning on, and then I will add the curry and do a second rub. So I'm just getting my gloves on. And when doing your rub, do it with love so that the meat actually gets that feel, the love. So I'm adding my curry powder, and this is what makes the goat meat extremely delicious, especially with your rice and peas. So I'll do another rub so that the curry gets combined with the meat and all the other seasonings. After rubbing all of this in, you would leave your meat to marinate for approximately an hour or even overnight, depending on when you want to do the preparation. But like how we're gonna be doing this right now, I'm just gonna be putting it into our pot. But normally, a good time for marinating is like half an hour to an hour is good. So you would just cover this and leave it, whether you want to leave it on your countertop or in your fridge. That would be good just as well, because the seasoning helps to keep the meat from spoiling. In terms of learning how to cook, I got that from my mom. So that is where I basically learned how to cook. So I will be moving to my Instapot, which is what we will be using for the preparation of the goat meat. Okay, so now we are ready to do the cooking of the curry goat. So today I'm using an Instapot to actually do the cooking of the meat. Why I'm using an Instapot? Because it is quick, it gives the same result as a stove, and as you know, we're all busy, hurrying, getting things done, so this is what will make life easy for you with where cooking is concerned. So to my Instapot, I'm going to be adding my oil. So I'm just going to be covering the bottom of the Instapot with some oil. And after adding the oil, I'm going to be adding just a bit of curry powder again, which you will allow to burn for a short period, say a minute. So adding my oil. You don't want to put too much oil because you don't want the goat meat to be too greasy. You want to get real gravy, not grease. So after adding that, I'll just take my curry powder again, and once the oil is hot, so I'm gonna put my oil to get hot in the Instapot, then I will add my curry powder. So I'll just wait a few minutes for my oil to heat up. So I've added my curry powder to the oil, and I'm allowing it to burn for just about a minute or two before I add the actual goat meat into the pot. So that's the process that's happening now. So the curry powder is in the oil waiting to be burnt as it gets hot. Okay, so now that my oil is hot with the curry powder, I am now going to be adding my goat meat that was seasoned and left for a short while to marinate. So we're going to be adding this in, and you can hear it. We're adding everything in. And then I'm going to be stirring this around. You don't want one side to get too much of the curry where it looks black, but you just want to maintain the golden curry powder look. So you keep stirring it around for it to saute, and then we will add some water so that we can get our gravy, and then we will cover the Instapot and allow to cook for approximately 35 minutes. So I'm just going to be getting some water. And when using the Instapot, the water doesn't necessarily boil down, so you don't put too much water. You just put enough that you would want for your gravy. So like on the stove, you know that the water would boil out of the meat, but with the Instapot, it's different. So you just add enough water that you would want for your gravy. So I'm going to be adding the water. And you stir again, and you cover your Instapot and allow the meat to cook for 35 minutes. Okay, so to go with our curried goat, we have rice and beans, and so I'm going to be showing you how we prepare rice and beans in Jamaica. This is done by other persons around the world as well, but I'm going to show you the Jamaican way. So right here I have peas, which is already pre-cooked, and this is like 2 cups of peas. So I'm going to be adding this to my pot. And when cooking the peas, we add garlic while it's being cooked on the stove. To the peas, I'm going to be adding coconut milk. So this coconut milk is actually the real fruit, the coconut that is dried, that was cut, blended, and squeezed. So we get the actual coconut juice. However, we have coconut powder that you can get in stores as well. All you need to do is empty the packet and add water, and you get the same product. However, using the real coconut milk gives the rice and beans a greater flavor. So let me add that to my peas. And then I'm going to be adding a touch of salt. And then a spoonful of butter. I'm just going to be stirring this around so that the salt dissolves. To this, I'm also going to be adding a sprig of thyme, so it gets that type of flavor. Now I'm going to be adding my rice, which is already pre-washed. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm going to be stirring this around so I know exactly what amount of water I will need to add to complete the cooking process. So I'll be adding a cup of water. And then I will be putting this on the stove and allowing it to cook. Oh, look at that. Now that's cabbage and carrots?
Cabbage and carrots.
And it's dressed with what?
just cabbage and carrots.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
it's just raw veggies. So
Nice.
that's the finishing product.
We're the Bracken School of Irish Dance, located in Salisbury, Massachusetts, and here we're showcasing some of our dancers of different ages and levels performing in their traditional hard shoes and light shoes.
Hi, my name is Carmina Bruff. I am Colombian. Many years ago, I was born in the beautiful country of Colombia, in the city of Bogota, which is the capital of the country. I have lived in the United States for the last 41 years. I came during the winter, and I think I made a mistake of coming during the winter, because even though Bogota is cold, it's no comparison with the cold temperatures that the winter offers. But I'm a happy person by nature, so you deal with it, you put your boots and everything, and life continues. As I mentioned before, I live in Haverhill. I've been living in the city of Haverhill for the last 20 years, and very happy. I was a little bit scared because I didn't know anybody here. I used to live in Lawrence, then North Andover, and then eventually I bought my house here in the city of Haverhill. I love history, and when I read the history of the city of Haverhill, it was amazing, because it shows that a lot of immigrants, hard-working immigrants, have been the fabric of this beautiful, beautiful true city, as they call. My Colombian traditions, I'm going to relate to you how, as a Colombian hard-working woman who went to school here, got my bachelor's degree, it was hard. It has been hard. But I ended becoming part of the Colombian Cultural Committee of the Merrimack Valley, which I am one of the founders. And that's when my traditions became more alive. Because there is a period where you want a culture to the new American culture. That for me was a priority. I came with English. But still, even though I knew English before, the phonetic part, it was hard. So I have to repeat when I talk to people. But I learned through that, I learned to speak slower so people will be able to understand what I was saying. I am a very proud Colombian woman. But regardless of that, my youngest son, George, was born in the United States. So sometimes at the table, we used to have these conversations. Mommy, you're so proud, but my father is Cuban and Jamaican and Colombian. So where do I belong? George used to ask very often, where do I belong? And I said, you remember that even though you were born in the United States, you have Latino roots. He loves, needless to say, the Colombian food. I don't know how many of you have tried the Colombian empanadas. Delicious, delicious. And I'm going to be honest with you, not too often I make those because it's intensive work and I'm too busy most of the time. So this is the Colombian flag, the national Colombian flag. And 2 days ago, we were celebrating the independence of Colombia. We're very proud of that. We didn't do any celebration here in the city out of respect for the community. The COVID cases, are fluctuating. They go down, they go up. And people with a good reason, they don't wear the mask. So we decided to cancel this year's celebration. What I have here is a traditional, what we call sombrero volteado. This is one of the symbols of Colombia, especially in the regions of the Atlantic coast. The cities of Cartagena, Barranquilla, Santa Marta, la región de Valledupar, the region of Valledupar, where the vallenato comes. It's a rhythm that everybody loves, and I don't know how many of you have heard Carlos Vives, a very famous singer, and then Shakira, the one who moves her hips. Very nice, I wish I could do it, but I'm a little bit too old for that. Anyhow, Colombia, it's a beautiful country. It's a beautiful country. We are blessed to have different regions. And I'm going to give you, when I talk about regions, how accessible for people from Bogota. Bogota is a cold city, remember I mentioned that at the beginning. Then you go down the mountain and you could, in an hour and a half or less, find 90-degree weather towards the valley. Then we're talking about Girardot, Espinal, Ibagué. So remember, we are blessed that we have the Andean mountains going through our beautiful country. That's why we have different climates. I want to invite everybody to go to Colombia. I love my coffee. I'm very proud of the Colombian coffee. I cannot start my day without a great Colombian coffee. And one of these days, when this episode of the pandemic, we're going to have another event in the city of Haverhill where everybody's going to taste that exquisite Colombian coffee. My family, I am very proud to be the mother of 2 children. My daughter Claudia, she's a social worker therapist, and my son, he is a manager with one of the mortgage companies in the area. And I have 3 grandchildren. Kylie, that loves empanadas. Kylie, my 15-year-old, loves empanadas. Whenever I see her, she says, Abuela, take me to the Colombian restaurant in Lowell. And I have to, my plan was different, but she said, no, Abuela, I just want empanadas. Okay, so I have Sophia, that is going to be 4 years old, and little Wesley, that at the end of this month is going to be a year old. I love my grandchildren. About the stories that I have, I come from a generation where children couldn't ask too many questions. I remember I used to ask many questions to my mother, who became a widow, and every single time I will ask so many questions, my mother will say, are you writing a book? This is the generation that I came from. You know, when people used to gather in my house, you know, the adults were in the living room and the children were somewhere else, because children didn't supposed to hear the conversation of adults. They didn't even say anything to us. It was just a simple look, and that look meant you don't belong in here because this is an adult conversation. Okay, so all my values, all my principles that I brought to this country are from Colombia. I learned that working hard will get you places. I learned that study. You have to go to school. You have to learn, because that's the only way that you're going to get a good job. I learned to be a responsible person. I learned to help everybody. But one of the most things that my mother always taught me was, Carmenza, always smile, but make sure that your smile is an honest smile, because people will know. They will read through you if you are smiling and that smile is fake. Colombia, beautiful country. This is another instrument that we use very often, is the maracas. As you can see here, it says, Recuerdo from Cartagena, Colombia. Memories from the beautiful city of Cartagena, Colombia. Please remember that maybe your next trip, after the entire pandemic is gone, should be Colombian as a destination.
On next week's show, there will be mariachi music with Veronica Robles, Boston's all-woman mariachi band, Italian cooking with Kristen Carboni from Carboni's Kitchen. We'll also do the Sons of Italy parade, and Cafe El Camino will show us how to make empanadas.
Hola, Haverhill! Hello! My name is Veronica Robles, and I am in company of Bengisu Goshke and Nicole Edgecombe. We are Boston's first ever all-women mariachi band. Happy to be here in this lovely evening performing for you at Haverhill Multicultural Festival, sponsored by Haverhill Cultural Council. I hope you enjoyed this song, and I'm also hoping that you can sing along. Canta, canta, canta. Can you repeat? Canta, canta, canta. One more time. Canta, canta, canta. And then the next part it says, Palomita Blanca, Palomita Blanca. And then we put it together. Canta. Canta, 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 palomita blanca. You got it? One more time. Now, put your hands together. Canta, 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 palomita blanca. Okay, one more time. Canta, 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 palomita blanca. I know you're home, but it doesn't take away of having the same fun as if we were in person. Hopefully next year we will see you in person. So let's do it, girls. Are we ready?
We want to thank you so much for tuning into the Multicultural Festival of 2021. This is truly a celebration of many cultures that represent the spectacular residents of Haverhill, Massachusetts. It is the first of what we hope will turn into an annual event where we can continue to experience Haverhill and all of its wonderful cultures that it represents. Until next year. This event is funded in part by the Haverhill Cultural Council, which is a local agency funded by the Massachusetts Cultural Council, a state agency. Are you looking to join the Haverhill Cultural Council? It's open to any resident of the city of Haverhill over 18 that would like to be more involved within the community. Email us at haverhill.grants@gmail.com and we can provide you with more information on how to join.